Club and how we could do something to introduce the club to everything the department has to offer. And from there, as they say, one thing led to another, and here we are. So thankfully the rain has passed us by, and you're all in for a treat. So I'm going to turn it over to the sheriff and his staff. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take up anybody else's time for right now because I'd like to introduce the Sheriff of Albany County, Sheriff Craig Apple.
Yeah.
I apologize for the sunglasses, but I'm in the blind spot here, so I don't want to squint all day. Look, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I very rarely turn down an opportunity to go speak and kind of spread what we're doing in Albany County in the Sheriff's Office. And we're a bit unique. A lot of people just think of the Sheriff's Office as you run the county jail or, you know, you've got a Hilltown patrol. But first of all, we're one of a handful of Sheriff's offices in the state of New York that are a fully accredited department, which means that we've reached the minimum standards and gone above and beyond. So very proud of that fact. I'm going to kind of talk quickly so you guys don't sweat to death out there. And you can see, I know some of the kids want to see the dogs and you want to see some of the equipment. But right off the top, we got one of the largest correctional facilities in the state of New York. We house around 1,049. Our daily population is anywhere in the mid to high 800s. It fluctuates 50 to 60 any given day. Again, it's a completely accredited facility. Very proud of some of the programs that we've kicked off in the last few years. One, we have some pictures over here of our jail dogs. We take dogs out of the Mohawk Hudson Humane Society. We train them inside the jail with the inmates. The dogs then get released. We call it the STAR, Sheriff's Star, a little corny, but it steps to adoption readiness. They go back, they have the basics, the sit, come, stay, heel, roll over, whatever, and they get adopted. We've done 24 dogs. I believe a little over 20 of them have been adopted by our staff. They haven't even been able to get out into society yet. But it's a great program. I'll tell you, the first two dogs, I kept saying to myself before we got them, please don't be a pit bull. Please don't be a pit bull. Sure as anything, the first two dogs were pit bulls. And I was, I had that whole stigmatism myself. They were the nicest dogs we've had. Majority of the dogs have been pit bulls. They're awesome dogs. And you know what it does is it's boosted the morale with the officers because the dogs roam free. The inmates, we have less contraband, we have less inmate-on-inmate fights. It's really done a calming effect for the whole jail. So it's been a great program and really a humanity program. Another program that we kicked off, or a little bit of a pet peeve, we've had inmates sitting in cells 23 hours a day. You come out for an hour, you eat, get a little gym, walk around, bless you, and go back in your cell. You didn't have to do anything. You were not beholden to anyone. You had no responsibility. So we said, listen, let's get them out and working. Let them show. I firmly believe that if you can show these inmates that they can be productive, get off services, get off programs, get jobs, we all win. We got less in the jail. We don't have to hire correction officers and inmates or maintenance staff and raise food and medical and everything else. Everybody wins. The taxpayers win. So what we've been doing is sending them out on the street. Last year, or 2 years ago, the first year, we did roughly 20,000 inmate labor hours to the community. We fixed everybody's familiar with holiday lights?
Yeah.
They got vandalized, the inmates came down, fixed them, saved the PAL program $15,000 to $20,000. We painted the pavilions at Tower Center Park. We painted half of Albany's fire hydrants, Water Bleeds fire hydrants, Cohoes fire hydrants. We clear them out, we paint them, we move on. We've done some great programs, and you know what? A lot of those inmates are helping to drop that recidivism. A lot of people, folks, don't wake up on Monday morning and want to go to jail. But really, when dad's in jail and uncle's in jail and grandpa's in jail, it doesn't leave much for the next generation. So we're trying to break that cycle. I think we're doing a great job at it up there. And that's just one of the programs that's been very successful to date. This year, we've kicked off some jail gardens. We're growing a lot of produce at the jail.
Wow.
We're not using it in the jail. We're donating it back to food pantries to see what the poundage would be. And next year, our goal is to try to introduce it into the jail to try to lower some of our food costs.
Nice.
So, but again, we got 50 inmates a day working. It gets them out, lets them know they can do something productive and not just sit in jail and think about ways to shank an officer or sneak in contraband. So, and that's what it's about, is A, to keep our officers safe, keep the inmates safe, and hopefully have them not return. So that's a couple of the jail programs we'll whip through. There's some pictures here of the jail. It's a monster. It's a city within a city. And anytime anybody, I would love to even offer to your club at some point, if you guys wanted to come up for a day, we could go to a few of the areas that are secure and you guys would feel comfortable going to and take a look at it. I'm very proud of that facility, and you really it had, you leave there with a whole different respect and look on life. So
Can they leave him there if they do that?
we've had a few stay by, and yeah, I used to say it's life on the installment plan, you know. So that's our program there. What we have here, and there's a lot of handouts. We want to show our Project Lifesaver. Project Lifesaver is a great program. Basically, if anybody with autism or dementia or a family member that has a propensity to walk away or wander away, we come in, we put this bracelet on you. What it does is it sends out an RF frequency. We come over every few months and change the batteries for it. Everything is in our computer system, our database. So when the officers are responding and they say, you know, subject X and he's on the Project Lifesaver, we already have the RF frequency. They can get it programmed in and they can already start to triangulate to locate him. The name of the game is to rescue, not recover. So, and we've got 18 on the program to date, which has been, you know, it's a perfect number for us. It's easy to maintain, but we know there are others out there. If you know anybody, I would encourage you to take advantage of it. We're covering the costs entirely with drug asset money. We're not charging anybody a penny for it. Initially, we were going to have deposits put down, and we're like, you know what, I don't want somebody to be deterred because they don't have the money. So to use the slogan, make crime pay, we take the drug dealers' money and we use it for programs like this. Going down the table, talk real quick about our emergency management. There's been a real heightened awareness on crude oil. Everybody's concerned about crude oil, the shipments coming in from the east and the west and the north and the south, and what are you doing to protect us? So we've been very aggressive working with the county executive and going after the companies that are coming down, basically that are just running millions and millions of dollars worth of fuel every day and not reinvesting any of that into the community for preparedness. Look at it, folks, if a train derails with anything more than 2 oil cars, we got a heck of a battle on our hands. Maybe 3 oil cars, we could fight it, but to date, we don't know of any oil fires, large-scale train derailment oil fires that have been put out with foam. Normally, it's a matter of let it burn out, try to protect, you know, stabilize and protect and keep it from, you know, going any bigger. That's the name of the game. So we've really been bolstering up our emergency management. What we have in the backpacks are basically what you hear all the time is a go kit. We encourage everybody, not just somebody that lives close to a train, we encourage everybody, especially with the crazy storms we've been getting, have a plan, know where to meet your family, have a muster point, put some things in the pack that you need to survive a couple days. God only knows, out in Madison County, folks, an hour and a half from here, you know, had 4 people killed yesterday when a couple of hurricanes touched down. So when people say, that only happens in the south, no, it's happening up north and it's happening more frequently. So I'm trying to go fast so you guys don't sweat to death. So have a plan. Get some batteries, get a flashlight, get some gloves, some plastic bags. Believe it or not, get some toilet paper. Some of the necessities you need, put them in that bag and have it ready to go in case it's an emergency. We have a limited supply of these bags. We get them periodically, but there's even a little transistor radio. There's a lot of necessities. But then also on the home personal side, we encourage people to have your personal papers together in a safe place in a Ziploc bag where you can access them quickly if you have to go. But most of all, make sure your family has a plan. Listen, if something bad happens to this area, cell towers are going down. Don't rely on cell communications. I have a point where if we lose touch, we can meet up. And that's what we're trying to do is go around, and anybody that's been paying attention to us, we've been pushing preparedness. We can go out and fight crime all day, but we want people to be prepared for what if, and that's what it's all about. Some of the things that go hand in glove with the preparedness, some of our active shooter training. We've got with us today, he's here somewhere, is Investigator Messin. Sorry, you don't have to get, I was just going to introduce him. Investigator Messin has gone around, and just this year alone, we've done just under 1,000. After Friday, we'll have over 1,000 trained in active shooter. Now, when people see active shooter, they think, oh my God, the tragedies that have occurred in schools. But this is happening more and more frequently, and I always tell people when, not if. When, not if. It happens to our area. We've been blessed not to have it happen here. I pray to God it never does. But if it does, I want you folks prepared. So we've gone out, Investigator Messin has taken our tactical team out to state offices and small local libraries, Horsville Library, where there's only 2 employees. And then DEC down in Albany, where there's hundreds of employees. And he's going back to DEC Friday.
Tomorrow and Friday.
Tomorrow. basically to let them know, run, hide, fight. What do I do? And it's not just a matter of if an active shooter comes in there, but what to expect when we come in there, because that's going to be just as scary. So we want everybody to be aware of that. We have some discs here that give you a quick video, a run, hide, shoot video, I think 5-minute video on what to do. We have it on YouTube. We have it on books, you know, and if you want us to come to your office or come to another Rotary meeting, I'll be glad to offer him to you. It's a great thing and everybody should know it. In addition to that, on the videos and the books, we talk about the Go Pack, what to do. What we have at the, I saw them at the end of the table, but they, I think, vanished. Oh, here they are over in this one. Disaster books, feel free to take one. These are just common sense books, the basics. How much water can I walk through before I'm swept off my feet? Well, it's 6 inches, believe it or not. 6 inches of running water. After that, you're going to probably get swept. So a lot of little things. What do I do if I get stung by a bee? It's all in that book. And then it goes as far as a chemical, biological, a nuclear attack. It'll explain it all the way down to just the running water and everything else. So they're really, I call them common sensible books. And feel free to take them. It's good stuff. The MRAP, I'll talk quickly about it before you get over there. I take a lot of heat for this, but it's heat that I'm willing to take. A lot of people criticize this, and boy, did they ever. Because they said, my gosh, he's militarizing the police department. Well, this is the bottom line, folks. I filed for a grant for $320,000 to buy what's called the Bearcat. We were going to share it throughout the Capital District and let SWAT teams utilize it. It was not long after the first school shooting. We're like, we got to get something armored in case we have to go in, get these kids out, get these people out. Let alone, folks, we got Colony Center, we got cross gates right here. What if? So in the middle of filing for the grant, the military opened up some surplus equipment and said, you know, we're going to offer 16 of these to the Northeast. So I said, hey, let's try it. We put in for it. We were granted one. To try to demilitarize it, we took the turret off, and it's a beast. I'll be the first to tell you. It's an armored beast. But if the reason this is here is to make sure that if there is an active shooter, we can get your butts out of that place safely, and as well get our staff in there safely and get them out safely. The stairs go down. It's armored. You're not going to hurt it, but it's not here to take your guns. It's not here to serve warrants. It's not here, you know, to take anything from you, as long as you don't do anything bad, right? But we've used it once. I can credit that vehicle right there for saving a life. Earlier that day, I was criticized by a local politician for having it, and a comment was made about us. Invading somewhere. That night, we had an active shooter who was threatening to take out law enforcement and fire personnel. That vehicle and another one similar to it went in, and were able to get the guy to put the weapon down. And nobody had to get in there close, and we were able to basically calm it with no injuries, no loss of life, or unfortunately did lose a lot of property. So that's a little bit of the history on the MRAP. It's for use for everybody in the county. We recently had an armored Humvee that we donated over to Albany PD. So there's a few of these vehicles around. Folks, there could be 10,000, 15,000 people shopping in Crossgates at the height of shopping season. And, you know, we want to make sure that we can get in there and get you guys out of there. Maybe it's only 10 at a time, but it'll be 10 at a time safely removed. That's what it's for. This vehicle behind is not only our command post, but it's a mobile 911 center. It's basically a moving public safety answering point. If 911 goes down somewhere, we can pull in, plug and play. God forbid if something happened right up the road at Guilderland's Town Hall where their dispatch center is, it goes down, we can bring this vehicle in, we can plug in, we can answer 911 seamlessly. You won't even know that it happened. And it's an interesting vehicle. Again, it was given to us from a Homeland Security grant. No cost to the taxpayers except global taxpayers, international or national taxpayers. But it's about $300,000. It's got everything in it. We've got antennas on the beam. So it's another just piece of preparedness that we're trying to offer. One of our cars over there is another project we're trying with. It's a propane car. We could save a lot of money with the propane. Dollars per gallon cheaper. Everybody says, my gosh, it's a moving bomb. No, it's not. It's safer than a gasoline car. That car right there as it sits can run gasoline and propane, about 400 plus miles to the tanks. But it's a propane car. It's the concept we're running with to try it out. We have another inmate transport van that we're utilizing that it saves hundreds of dollars in fuel. So we're going to not switch the fleet, but we may do a lot of our high mileage vehicles to try to, again, cut costs and minimize our expenses. So those are just a few of the projects. We do answer 911 for the county. We roll it out to everyone else. We have a great Stop DWI program. I know a couple volunteers are here today. We're about to roll out, I'll give you a quick tip. We're about to roll out a new concept car. It's half police car, it's half taxi cab, and basically says on it, choose your ride, cabs or cuff. So it's we try to change the program up all the time to be a little different. It's an eye catcher, it'll get people talking. We're going to partner up with one of the local law firms. It's easy to figure out with their numbers, 1-800-LAW-1010, shameless plug. But it's they've been a great partner with our program, and again, you'll see it throughout the county. But again, it's basically to get people talking about making good decisions. I think about a quarter of a mile right out here, we lost 2 lives this weekend. 2 young kids killed in a car crash. Third one has now got to live with that, knowing that he killed his 2 best friends. He was, I believe, highly intoxicated, and a speed that was over double the speed limit. So that's where I was prior. I was at one of the wakes. It's sad. And somebody said, how was it? And I'm like, it's something that every 18 to 20-year-old kid needs to see. Because if you could go down there and see his motorcycle and his family and all the awards the kids had, gone. So wiped out just like that for one bad choice. So that's our Stop DWI program. Talked a little bit about our corrections. What am I missing?
I think that was it as far as that. We were going to do the canine demo next. If you want to talk about the canine program.
The dogs, we had done away with the program over the course of the last 10 years. About 2-3 years ago, we're like, hey, let's see if we can get this program reinvigorated, and let's name the dogs after past members. So our first one was George, named after George L. Infante, who was the sheriff who hired me back in the 80s, went on to be a county legislator, and he passed away the day after that I was sworn in. So I was really blessed that he got to see me become sheriff. Unfortunately, he passed away the next day. So our first dog is named George. Our second dog is Mo, after Maureen McGuire Honacle. Maureen was a great crime fighter. She was in our criminal investigation unit, and cancer took her. And she battled it a long time, but he eventually got her. So our second dog is Mo, and I believe tomorrow we're testing another dog, hopefully to bring onto the program, and we'll come up with another member that had passed away that is near and dear to our department. And we're going to just kind of keep that going where we name them after past members. So I can tell you this, folks, we got a great department. We cost you a lot of money, but I mean that, but we try hard to minimize that. I mean, I think we're a very efficient department. I tell people there is a cost to doing business. We just try to keep that cost as economical and efficient and proficient as possible. At the jail, out of 850 inmates, as of yesterday, 210 of them were boarders. What I do is, because I have available cells, I call outside community and I ask them if they have inmates they need boarded in, and then I take them. This year we're scheduled to bring in around $6 or $7 million. So if my budget is $70 million, obviously we're going to drop it down to 62, 63 million and save $7 million. And people will be like, well, it costs money for them. I have to pay maintenance. I have to pay, I have to pay officers to be on that tier. It costs $3, $2.87 a day to feed an inmate. That's 3 meals. So in the big scheme, we're bringing a lot of money, in. We're never going to make money. We're a jail. But if we can kind of control the costs and put less of a tax burden on you folks, that's the name of the game. So I can tell you that, I thank you again for inviting me. I'll come anytime and talk. Very proud of this department. I've been in this department 27 years, November, and over half my life. And to me, this is where I grew up. Really, it really is. This was my playground. But we work hard for you, and I assure you that we're trying to make the best choices to protect you and keep you safe. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Who wants to see the fun stuff? We're gonna do the canine demo next. We're gonna start over here. These are our canine officers here. I have Deputy Strollo and I have Deputy Martell. Deputy Strollo is gonna go first. He has George as his partner. They are our narcotics dog. They're going to do the car. They're going to look for the drugs. I'm going to call them drugs. They're simulated drugs. They're not real. It's just the scent, just the odor that the dog is trained with. In this kind of case, this is what we're going to use. So when I say drugs, they are simulated. So Deputy Strollo is going to take care of the first demo. You want to go get George? Sure. Here, you can stand on my podium.
Just real quick, when I bring them out, I'll tell you what I'm watching for out of the dog, so that way you get to benefit and see the dog work through my eyes. At first, you'll see him, he'll walk around. It may look like he's sniffing a little bit, but once he starts to pick up drug odor, then you'll see his excitement level pick up. His ears will rotate more towards the odor. He'll close his mouth, and he'll start sniffing more. His tail will curl a little more. And then he'll finally turn perpendicular to the odor, and he's supposed to scratch. Sometimes, if the ground is too hot or whatever the case may be, he may not, but all those other changes in behavior will be there. So if you watch him close, you should be able to see it. We have 2 hides on the car, so that way everybody should be able to at least see one. In addition to him scratching, he has his own little personality where he likes to look at me and say, "Come on, Dad, I found it, give me my toy." Paying the dog is kind of important. I give him we have a tug toy where we play tug of war. Unfortunately, I have to hide it in my shirt, so I'll look like a slob when I bring him out, but that's what it is. The toys are hidden in my shirt. And then I'll reward him. We'll play tug, and then we'll start sniffing again. If you end up with any questions either now or after I start or sometime during there, just shout them out, because I want to make sure that the questions are answered. Anything real quick? Good question? All right.
Okay, Deputy.
About 70 pounds. He's an explosive detection canine. He's the first one we ever had. Unlike George, they both alert. The same indicators will be: the tail will come up, they'll turn. An explosive dog is what we call a passive alert. He'll generally sit or lay down once he gets on odor. Today he may not lay down because the ground, or sit because the ground's very hot, so he'll start lifting his legs. But if you watch his tail, if you watch his nose, if he gets odor, he'll put his head in there and he'll turn and probably just look at me. If I give him a second, he'll sit down, then he'll play. Explosive dogs tend to be a little more mellower. He just doesn't like anybody near the car. That's why he barks all the time. They are big kids, but again, they're working dogs. They're not pets. So if either one of these dogs, just please don't reach out and try to pet them, because they might reach out and bite you, because they are dual-purpose dogs. By dual-purpose, we mean George detects narcotics, Mo detects explosives, but they're also patrol, where they'll do building searches. They'll track for missing people, missing children, or track to look for the bad guy who broke into your house and ran out into the woods. All right? So, again, as much as you want to say they're pets, and as much as you want to, they look warm and fuzzy, they're not pets. So when you look at them and you try to come up, it's hard, I know, because people, oh, I want to pet them, they're so cute, they're fuzzy. But please don't try to, because we don't want to have an accident.